Hard act to follow. Okay, sales apocalypse. I'm J.D. Moyer. I co-founded Luke Records in 1998, pretty much at the top of this graph. This graph is a disaster. Sales are off 50% in 10 years. Digital album sales are up a little bit, but pretty much it's an apocalypse. Why? The majors are saying it's piracy. Maybe intellectually they know there's other reasons, but what they do is they sue the music consumer. They punish the consumer with DRM schemes, and they pretty much make life miserable for everybody. Everybody hates the majors right now. Why doesn't music piracy feel like stealing? Well, first of all, you make a copy of something, you're actually making more of it. If it's a digital copy, you're not taking it from anybody. People are sharing entire libraries. They don't even necessarily listen to the music that they share. So it just, to the consumer, doesn't feel like stealing. What's an alternative narrative for why music sales are off? Yes, piracy. iTunes, individual song sales. People aren't buying albums, buying songs one at a time. Music streaming, got the Pandora logo. And the artist can now go directly to the consumer. Do we even need music labels? As an indie, what's an alternative solution to where sales are going? Be nimble, have a strategy, but be willing to flow with change. Follow the money. Where are the new revenue sources? Be cool just means be fair to artists and don't punish your customers. Are record labels obsolete? You can make a good argument that record labels are obsolete. Home recording quality is really high and it's cheap. It doesn't need to be funded by a major label. And the artists can release and promote their music directly. Social networking. But you might say, majors pay big advances. Well, not anymore. The big advance was to cover the recording costs. Those are now zero, pretty much. Protection from piracy? Maybe iTunes a little bit, but otherwise no. Once the music is out there, it's out there. And they want you to be famous already. So what are music labels good for? We'll tell you when your music is bad. This isn't an attitude thing. It's just about keeping the quality bar high. And artists need this. They want to know how their music can be improved, which songs not to release, and which ones are great. What else? If you're an artist, we'll boost your credibility. Credibility to most artists is more important than money. You want the respect of your peers, and you want them to know that you made it through the A&R gauntlet. So this is just one release outlet. Credibility is important. What else? Branding. For the artists, for the music artists, this is a really hard problem. It's really the label's job. How to establish that emotional connection between the music and the artist and whoever the music consumer appreciator is. It's a tricky thing, and as a label, we can help. Get you back to songwriting. People have different ideas of what songwriting is, but that's what the artist should be doing. Packaging and promoting your own music just takes too much time. It can take 50% of the time away that should be spent writing new songs. The music label can get out to 50 outlets on the day of release. If you go direct, maybe you can get out to 1 or 2. But there are just tons of music outlets. iTunes is just a small part of the picture. And there are some really surprising ways that music is being consumed these days. And for the artist, we'll maximize income. Music licensing to TV, video games, and also just going to so many outlets. So we like to think for most artists we're making them more money than they could on their own. Okay, so where's the revenue coming from? This is a snapshot from 2010, last year. One interesting thing, sales, 40% of our revenue last year. 10 years ago, that was net sales was negative. And that's because the cost of producing vinyl records was so expensive. So now, even though sales are lower, we're making more money. If we drill down on that, permanent downloads, that's iTunes, a few other outlets, only 15%. Ad revenue share, if you go to a website and listen to some music and there's an ad, sometimes we get a share of that. That turned out to be a big chunk of the money, which surprised us. Drill down on that, YouTube, really? That surprised us. The lesson we took from that was we have no idea what's going on. We don't know where the music industry is going, and that's why we try to be nimble and stay lean and just see what's happening. So what makes the label good? We like to think it's keeping the quality really high, but also being fair to the artists. High royalty rates. I think the new indie standard is 50% now. It used to be maybe 18%. And not punishing the consumer, that's important. So why do music labels still exist? Well, we exist to filter music. That's the A&R process. That's both on behalf of the artist and the music consumer appreciator. And to package and promote it, I think that's still the label's job, and that's still a good thing. But why music labels no longer decide how much music costs, right? It's now free if you want it to be free. What gets released. Now everything is released, and you can choose as a consumer what you want to listen to. They used to be more tightly controlled. And who gets to release music? Now it's democratic. Those are all good things. So, last slide, the future. Where's bandwidth going? How big is it going to get? Will it be metered? Fidelity, will there ever be a digital format that sounds as good as vinyl? I hope so. Not yet. And finally, will music be free and ubiquitous? I think that'll be a good thing. Thank you.